Here's part 19 of the truth. So it's the middle of the night. Newton and Max made a campfire and they're sleeping by it. Shelly is way off in the bush, woke up, it's dark out, and he's like, I have insatiable hunger and I need to eat. Eat. Eat! I must feed the worm babies. I can feel them crawling inside of me and I need to feed my children. I need to feast on meat. So Shelly has fully succumbed to the worms, but he's accepting it. He's like, I am the big baddie. I am Shelob, the destroyer. So Newton woke up suddenly, and he saw around the glow of the campfire, just off in slight distance, he saw Shelly, gaunt, skinny, and scraggly looking, crawling on all fours like a spider around the campfire light, back and forth like he's staunching them like a tiger. Newt had a knife with him and he's waiting. He told Shelly to fuck off. He's like, yo, get out of here. Get out of here, Shelly. But he just kept pacing back and forth, making sure to look them in the eyes. And then Shelly's like, he giggled and then he disappeared into the darkness. Took a while for Newton to get back to sleep, but he eventually did. Morning came, Newton and Max cried over the entire circumstance, over everything. Max is still distraught over Ephraim's death, over Tim's death, over the loss of nearly their whole troop at this point. They're stranded, they have this mysterious illness that is killing them off one by one. They can't get off the island, so they went down to the beach to check out that boat that Tom originally came onto the island with. Sure enough, as they inspected it, the spark plugs were gone. They started combing the beach a little bit. They were looking around, trying to brain think, use their wrinkles in their brains to be like, what can we do? Tim said he already searched the water. Tim said he already searched around. Where could the spark plugs be? So at this point, Newton and Max are slowly becoming friends. A lot of the solo bonding time through trauma, they're like, yeah, you ain't so bad. Yeah, you're not that bad either. We can work together. So Max, as they're looking for the spark plugs, he realized, I was with Tim during this botched autopsy. I think I saw them in his stomach. Newt, get this. These people who are infected with these tapeworms, they're hungry. They're like insatiably hungry. I think he ate the spark plugs. Are you sure? That's crazy, but like, that would make sense. I think we should go retrieve the spark plugs in the cabin. So Newton agreed, and off they went into the cellar. They went into part of the storage space in the what was left of the cabin, and they constructed their own hazmat suit out of garbage bags to protect from the contagion. So garbage bags, duct tape, little air holes, and masks. They were ready to go. So they both went in, found Tom's body, and at this point it was gnarly. Like maggots, it smelled, fluids. It was only like maybe a day or two old, but you know, bodies. So they had a sharp object and they carved into Tom's stomach. And there they were. 2 spark plugs. He did swallow the spark plugs. They both grabbed them, unsheathed themselves from their garbage bag hazmat suits, and they made their way back down to the beach to wash them off thoroughly, and they set them on a large rock near the boat to sun dry. So they had the spark plugs. They did a once around on the boat to make sure everything was in tip-top shape before they took off from the island, but they realized they were out of fuel. Max said he saw spare gas cans, gas jugs, in the cellar. So they both quickly went off to the cellar, grabbed the gas jugs, made their way back, and the spark plugs on the rock were gone, and they knew Shelly took them. They both freaked out. They were mad. They literally, freedom was in sight. They had what they needed. They were ready to go, but Shelly, of course, thwarted them, and they had to go and find Shelly to get the spark plugs back. So they topped off the fuel real quick so that wouldn't go missing. And then they made their way back into the island, and they found a cave. I mean, this was hours of searching, of course, but they found a cave. So, from the point of view of Shelly, he sat back in this little shallow cave, and he heard them coming and conversing outside of the cave, trying to figure out what to do. And he thought to himself, I have to eat them. I have to eat. What am I going to do with them first? I'm going to eat their eyes. I'm going to eat their eyes first so they can't see. And then I'm going to eat their feet so they can't run away. But I'm going to keep them preserved so they can be daddies too. So they can also give birth to worms. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. So the boys began their way into the cave. They had flashlights. It was a little dark inside. It was a moist cave. They walked in and they saw immediately the glimmer of both of their spark plugs sitting conveniently in the middle of the cave. Just sitting there, and they knew it was a trap. They're like, good old Shelly. So the boys went in. Max grabbed the spark plugs. Newton was standing off the side of him, and he's like, I got them. Let's go. And of course, in horror movie fashion, Newton standing at him with the flashlight pointing at Max, and from behind Max comes crawling down Shelly like a freaking human spider. And in the book, it was the most horrific description of something straight out. I mean, it is a horror book. Straight out of a horror book. This is it. The visuals of Shelly was absolutely horrific. He crawled down from wherever he was, and he was rail thin. He had no meat or fat left on his bones. He was just skin, veins, and bones. The blue veins inside his body popped, so it was just this pure white, jaundiced skin with these bright blue veins all over his body. He ate the skin off of his hands and his feet. His teeth were gone, and his lips hung slack down. His eyes were shriveled up and dehydrated. One of them was completely sunken in, and the other was pure white, and you could see worms wriggling around it. His limbs were at a weird contorted angle, and he was upside down, and he was crab walking at them. So his head was like hanging back, and he was eyeballing both of them. His stomach was so bloated like he was going to pop.